The crystal glass trembles in 10-year-old Emma Ashford's small hands as her Aunt Margaret forces the bitter liquid down her throat. Emma's eyes water, but no sound escapes her lips. Not a cry, not a whimper, nothing. She hasn't spoken a word in 4 years. "There's my good girl," Margaret coos, her manicured fingers brushing Emma's cheek with mock tenderness. "This medicine will help you feel better." But Emma's intelligent blue eyes tell another story. They dart toward the kitchen door where a new figure enters quietly, Dr. Kesha Williams posing as a domestic worker. To the Ashfords, she's just another maid, but beneath the crisp uniform beats the mind of a once-renowned pediatrician. Kesha has learned to hide her education behind silence. She's been called worse things than help. She's endured being invisible, but this assignment feels different. The Ashford estate sprawls across 15 acres in Greenwich, Connecticut. Its marble hallways gleam with the arrogance of inherited money. Each chandelier sparkles with the ghosts of privilege, yet behind one ornate bedroom door something rots. Not decay of the body, but of morality. Margaret's voice cuts the air like glass. "Emma, this woman is here to serve." "Nothing more?" "Yes, ma'am." Kesha answers evenly, her gaze sharp and observant. She spots the tremor in Emma's hands, the unnatural dilation of her pupils. Her medical instincts twitch. "Something is wrong." Margaret continues her practiced explanation. "Emma has special needs. She hasn't spoken since her parents' tragic accident. Selective mutism, they call it." Kesha nods politely, but in her mind a quiet alarm blares. Mutism alone doesn't cause hand tremors, nor does it explain the faint metallic smell clinging to Emma's breath. The butler Thomas watches silently from the doorway. He has served the Ashfords for 40 years. His eyes flicker with an old man's regret, as though he's seen too many truths buried under fine rugs. Margaret turns, her heels clicking sharply against polished wood. "You'll address me as Mrs. Ashford. Emma's medicine must be given precisely at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., no exceptions." "Understood." As Kesha follows her employer through gilded corridors, she forces herself to breathe slowly. She'd lost her medical license after exposing corporate corruption in pediatrics, a scandal that left her branded a criminal. But her oath to protect life never faded. That night, as the house sleeps, Kesha sits on her narrow bed in the servants' quarters. From her suitcase she removes a small leather medical kit, her only link to the life she lost. She traces her fingers over the worn initials, KW. She whispers to herself, "You can't save everyone, but you can save her." Morning sunlight filters through lace curtains. Emma sits at her antique writing desk sketching pictures, dark images of herself with X's drawn over her mouth. Margaret sweeps into the room carrying a silver tray. "Time for your medicine, dear." Emma's hands shake as she reaches for the glass. Kesha watches quietly from the corner, pretending to dust. Her trained eye catches the faint shimmer in the liquid. Too clear, too viscous. The girl's face twists in quiet dread before she drinks. "Drink it all," Margaret sings. Emma obeys. Her small body shudders. Kesha grips the feather duster until her knuckles turn white. That's not medicine, she thinks. That's poison. At noon, Margaret hosts her weekly luncheon. 12 women from Greenwich's elite circle gossip beneath a skylit conservatory, their laughter brittle as crystal. "I do hope this one lasts longer than the last," says Mrs. Peyton, glancing toward Kesha. "These people can be so unreliable." "Well," says another, "at least she's tidy, though I doubt she's had much education." Margaret smiles sweetly. "Our Kesha comes with excellent references, though I doubt she understands half of what we say." The women laugh. Kesha feels the sting but says nothing. Her silence is armor. In the doorway, Emma watches, small hands clenched, eyes blazing with a child's unspoken fury. That night, Kesha cleans the kitchen alone. Her hands tremble with contained rage. She remembers standing in front of the Johns Hopkins board, pleading for justice against pharmaceutical giants, and being labeled unstable for daring to challenge them. Now she's here, scrubbing dishes for a murderer in pearls. A quiet rustle draws her gaze. Emma stands in the doorway clutching a napkin. On it she's drawn 2 stick figures, one tall, one small, and holding hands. Above them a single word in block letters, "Friend." Kesha kneels, eyes softening. "Thank you, sweetheart." The girl points to her heart, then to Kesha's and nods. That simple gesture seals an unspoken pact. Days later, Kesha wakes in the middle of the night to the sound of grinding. She follows it to the kitchen and freezes. Through a crack in the door, Margaret stands over a mortar and pestle, muttering to herself, 5 milligrams per kilogram. Accelerate the process nicely. Kesha's blood runs cold. Those are dosage calculations, not for medication, for poisoning. When Margaret leaves, Kesha moves swiftly. She swabs residue from the mortar and hides the sample in a small vial. Later, in the laundry room, she conducts crude tests with vinegar and iodine. The results confirm her worst fear: mercury and thallium. Her hand shakes as she whispers, she's been poisoning this child for years. That morning, when Kesha serves Emma breakfast, she hides a chelating compound in the girl's juice, disguised as vitamins. Just a little something to make you strong, she murmurs. Emma nods solemnly, unaware that this tiny act of defiance could save her life. From that moment, every day becomes a battle. Kesha documents every dose, every symptom, every cruel smile Margaret gives. She knows that one mistake will cost them both their lives. But Margaret notices change. Emma's eyes clearer, her posture steadier. Suspicion blooms. Has anyone been giving Emma anything unusual? She asks Thomas casually. He hesitates. No, ma'am. Margaret's smile tightens. The predator has scented threat. The next humiliation comes swiftly. Jewelry appears in Kesha's room, planted. Margaret gathers the staff. I'm deeply disappointed, she sighs theatrically. But perhaps this serves as a lesson about trust. Thomas looks away. The other maids whisper. That night, Kesha sits alone, her head in her hands. You've survived worse, she tells herself. You didn't lose your license for nothing. She looks up to find Emma beside her again, slipping another drawing into her lap. Margaret with a syringe. Emma lying in bed, a skull floating above her head. Kesha's heart pounds. You're trying to tell me what she's doing to you, aren't you? Emma nods. The truth has a face now. Small, pale, and determined. And in that moment, Kesha knows what she must do. She will stop Margaret Ashford, no matter the cost. To be continued. Chapter 2. The evidence of evil night falls over the Ashford estate. Kesha waits until the house is still, then retrieves her medical bag. She installs a tiny recording device inside Emma's stuffed rabbit, Winston. If she says anything, she whispers, we'll have proof. Margaret's paranoia grows by the hour. Cameras appear in hallways. Schedules shift. She doubles Emma's medicine, but Kesha is prepared. She fakes doses, hides samples, and teaches Emma to mimic symptoms. You're such a smart girl, she tells her softly. Just a little longer, but the game turns deadly. Margaret calls the police, accusing Kesha of theft and drug possession. Officers tear through her quarters, finding evidence Margaret planted. Emma watches from the stairs, silent tears streaking her face. That night, Emma hides a drawing inside Winston, Margaret planting drugs in Kesha's room. A child's truth hidden beside a doctor's evidence. At 8:10 p.m., Margaret enters Emma's room with a syringe. Time for your special medicine, darling. But Kesha steps from the shadows. Put it down, Margaret. It's over. Margaret's sneer curdles. You're just the help. Kesha stands tall. No, I'm Dr. Kesha Williams, Johns Hopkins Medical School, class of 1995. Margaret's composure fractures. You're lying. I've documented everything, your compounds, your dosages, your confession. You've been poisoning Emma to steal her inheritance. For the first time, fear flashes in Margaret's eyes. And then Emma speaks, her voice clear, trembling but strong. She saved my life. You poisoned me. Just like you killed Mommy and Daddy. The room freezes. Kesha's eyes widen. Emma, you remember? I saw you, Aunt Margaret, the girl says. You cut the brakes. Margaret lunges with the syringe, shrieking, but Kesha intercepts, wrestling her to the floor. Thomas bursts in with a recording device. It's all recorded, he says, voice shaking. Every word, Margaret laughs, feral. You think you've won? I own this town. She pulls a second syringe, fentanyl. If I can't have the fortune, no one will. Before she can strike, Kesha tackles her. The syringe bursts, fumes filling the air. Everyone begins coughing. Emma collapses, gasping, no. Kesha yells, grabbing her medical kit. She injects naloxone into Emma's arm. Breathe, baby, breathe. Emma's chest rises again. Seconds later, FBI agents storm the room. Agent Rodriguez arrests Margaret, reading charges of murder and fraud. The nightmare ends in flashing red lights and the sound of justice. 6 months later, Emma wakes in a hospital bed, her hand wrapped around Keisha's. "Are we safe now?" she whispers. "Yes," Keisha says, smiling through tears. "You're safe forever." Her medical license is restored. Margaret's crimes fill national headlines. The Ashford Mansion becomes the Emma Ashford Center for Child Protection, dedicated to children silenced by abuse. 1 year later, Emma walks confidently beside her new mother, Dr. Keisha Williams. They pause under the bronze plaque that reads, "Dead,